Let's look at then the relationship to the writer. So how well do you know your audience? You think about something like emails. Do you email your friends different than you do your family, different than you do your instructor? Some of this might be due to how comfortable you are with your audience. If you have shared experience with that audience, you can avoid a lot of the background information that you'll need to give if you don't know that audience or if it's a stranger. So it's really going to determine a lot of the information that we bring in and the formality of how we write. So if we look at, again, writing to an instructor in an email, you shouldn't be using the letter U instead of writing YOU. So we shouldn't be using text speech. You still don't want to use fragments or run-on sentences when you're writing an email to an instructor because it changes the way that they perceive you. So we want to be a lot more formal there. Whereas if you're writing an email to a friend, they know you and you're not going to diminish their respect if you have a run-on sentence or if you don't use commas correctly. And then we have expectations. What does your reader expect from you? Again, if we have an audience that's unfavorable, they are going to expect a lot more research, a lot more evidence. If you have an audience that's favorable, they're going to expect a lot of emotion, a lot of confirmation of their beliefs. We can also look at what criteria are supposed to be met in an assignment. So when you're given an assignment, these are the expectations. When you're writing to me, you'll want to indent your paragraph. You'll want to use a topic sentence and then get right into the evidence. You want to have tie-ins. So all of these things that we've been talking about throughout the class, these are my expectations. And you'll need to know that because I am your audience as well as the general college community. So let's imagine the following scenario. This has been an exercise that I've done in classes before. Imagine that you have an 8-year-old child who has come home from school and reports that another student pushed him on the playground. He claims that the teacher saw it and has done nothing. And now, like a good parent, you decide to write a letter. Now, we might write various letters depending on the audience. And so I'll usually have the students break up into groups and write to different audiences. And they have to consider, how does my message change? How does my method change of delivering that based on these audiences? So the first audience, let's say we're writing to the parents of the bully. We want to look first at the message. Most likely the message is going to be, I would like to sit down and talk about this, or I'd like to make sure this behavior stops. But some of the things that we need to consider first, do children always tell the truth? So we can imagine a situation in which your child and this other child were scuffling on the playground and both got in trouble. So your child tells the story differently than it actually happened. We want to consider that as we're creating this message. So I'm not going to use the word bully anywhere in that letter to the parents of the other child. I also am not going to be as accusatory. I might say my son reported that he was pushed rather than your child pushed my child. It's really going to change the method of how we deliver that message, that we want this behavior to stop, that we want to meet with you, or we want to just make you aware of what has happened. Now, what would it look like if you're writing to the teacher? Here it's going to be different. We might still be cautious in saying something like a bully or that my son was being bullied. We definitely don't want to accuse the teacher of doing nothing. This is one of the problems that groups in previous classes have had, is they've accused the teacher and even though the child said that the teacher saw it, we don't know if this is true. And so by accusing the teacher, now we've created this opposition. We're likely not going to get the results that we want. So the teacher is going to have different considerations than writing to the parents of the bully. It's going to change the message, what we would like to see happen, and it's going to change the way that we deliver that message. Next, if we're writing to the principal. Okay, so again, if we're writing to a principal now, our message is going to change as far as what we want. We want to maybe either meet with the teacher and the parents of the other child. We maybe want some action to be taken. Whatever it is, we need to think about what would the principal care about more than what the teacher would care about, more than what the parents of the other child would care about. So we want to know what they are expecting within our message, and then we can tailor it accordingly. And then lastly, I have them create a post for social media. So now your audience is broad and diverse. One of the biggest errors that I saw in doing this exercise is one group named the other child, which is horrible because we think of this diverse audience. We might have audience members that know the child who are going to take revenge on that child or start to bully that child. So we want to consider, how does a broad audience change my message? We might be a lot more careful in the information that we give and the way that we inform that audience. Do we want to incite anger? Do we want to just bring awareness? Do we want them to maybe talk to their own children to see if they're having these same issues? Our message then can have various purposes, and we need to think about what is the best method for dealing with this larger audience. So hopefully you understand a little bit more about audience and how it can shape your message and the way that you deliver that message.